Hello, welcome to my Pre-Algebra review series. This video covers Chapter 6, Section 2, titled Proportions. By the end of this section, you will have reviewed the procedures for solving proportions, using cross products, multiplying to solve proportions, and testing for proportions. Finally, you'll be reviewing the process for proportions to solve real-world problems. Please leave a like if you find this video to be helpful. Give your classmates a heads up too. It will more than likely help them, and it certainly will help this channel to be seen by more students. If you would like me to cover any of these topics in greater detail, please leave a comment in the comment section below. I read them and do my best to answer each as time permits. Please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell icon to be notified every time I release a new video. Thank you. Okay, first let's look at some definitions. A proportion. A proportion is an equality of two ratios. For example, 6/9 is equal to 8/12. They're both fractions. They are ratios, 6:9 and 8:12. And they're also a proportion because 6 divided by 9 is the same as 8 divided by 12. You can use the multiplicative property of equality to show an important property of all proportions. We'll look at that later. Cross product. The products A, D, and BC are called cross products of the proportion A over B equals C over D. So what A, D, and BC are is when we take and we multiply by the denominators. You'll see how that's also done in the next section. Objective 1A, solving proportions. A proportion is an equality of two ratios. For example, as we looked at this before, 6 divided by 9 is equal to 8 divided by 12. You can use the multiplicative property of equality to show an important property of all proportions. We're going to look at that right here in this slide. The products A, D, and BC are called cross products of the proportion AB equals CD. So let's look at this. So if AB right here, in this example right here, if AB is equal to CD, then A divided by B, that's the AB portion right here, times BD, and BD is we multiply the denominators, B and D right here, B and D. We multiply the denominators, we get BD. So then A divided by B times BD is equal to C divided by D times BD. So you have to multiply both sides by the same number, and we did. That number is BD, okay? So, and when we do that, we're going to get these fractions down here that are A times B times D over B is equal to C times B times D over D. And the BD is this piece right here, the piece we multiplied by, which was the denominators multiplied together. And the A here and the C here are the original A up on top, and C, that's the numerators. And the B and D are the original denominators. So the only thing that's changed between these upper fractions right here and these down here, right here, is that we've multiplied in this piece here, the BDs. Okay? And when we do that, you're going to see that the B's cancel. This B here cancels this B. This D here, this B here, oh, excuse me, this D here, rather, gets canceled by this D. And we end up with AD, there's the AD, and CB, CB. So then AD is equal to CB. And what's that going to show us now? The thing called a cross product. The products AD and CB, AD, CB, there they are called the cross products of the proportion A divided by B equals C divided by D. So what we've done here, the cross product means that we have these I'll draw it up. A over B equals C over D. And the cross products are these right here. These multiplied by these. Are these multiplied together equals, so now we're going to have AD is equal to CB. Okay, that's the cross product. That's what they're showing us here. AD and CB, and that's how we got the cross product. Okay, and objective 1B is they're showing us the key concepts here of a cross product. So we're going to just see it in a little more detail. It says in a proportion, the cross products are equal. We just looked at that earlier. So let's look at the algebraic version here first. So the algebraic version is A, as I showed you, A times D is equal to C times B. And here it is, AD is equal to CB. And when we do it in reality with numbers, arithmetically, let's see if it's true or not. 6 times 12 is how much? Well, we're going to write it out. We're going to say 6 times 12. Is that equal to 9, or I'll just say 8 times 9? Well, 8 times 9 is 72. And 6 times 12 is 72. Hopefully it makes sense. I think it does. I think it was pretty clear here. So there's the cross products right here. The cross products are the piece, the 6 times 12, 6 times 12, and the 8 times 9 right there. Or the AB, or AD equals BC. Okay, so example 1, multiplying to solve a proportion. To solve a proportion that contains a variable, you find the value that makes the equation true. Solve x over 9 is equal to 4 over 6. So we have x, here's our proportion, and we want to find out what the value of x is. We want to find out x. So there's two methods they're going to use here. One is called the multiplication property of equality, which we've seen before. And that's what we're just going to say here is we're going to take, in order to solve this problem, I'm going to rewrite it here. X divided by 9 is equal to 4 divided by 6. And what we do is we multiply by the inverse, or the reciprocal, of 1 over 9, which is 9. So we're going to say 9 times 1 over 9 times x. This is the 1 over 9 with the denominator is the 9 in the denominator, equals 4 over 6 times 9. You have to multiply both sides times 9. And in that case, the 9's cancel because 9 divided by 9 is a 1. 1 over 1 is a 1. So x equals, and we have the, on this side you have the 4 times 9, which is 36, divided by 6. And 36 divided by 6 is equal to 6. So the answer here is x equals 6. Well, let's try the cross product method. Using the cross product method, we're going to say x times 6, or 6x equals 4 times 9. 4 times 9, okay? And now we have to get the x by itself, like we always do. So in order to do that, we have to multiply the coefficient by its reciprocal. And by doing that, we're going to say 1 over 6 times 6 times x is equal to 4 times 9 over 6. Because we have to multiply both sides by 1 over 6. And when we do that, the 6's cancel here. And we have x equals 4 times 9 is 36. Does it look familiar? Divided by 6 is equal to 6. So here x equals 6. So is this a proportion? It says to solve a proportion containing a variable. Is this even a proportion? And the answer is yes. And why is it yes? It's because the cross products are equal. That's just, we proved that just now. Okay, example 1, check your understanding. As usual, it's your turn. Stop the video, try these out. When you come back, we'll do them together. You can do them both. I think there's enough room to do both of them, both methods, or either one method or the other. I don't think it makes any difference, but we're looking at cross products, so I try to get the cross products in. When you come back, I'll do each. Okay, so I'll wait. Okay, now that you're back, let's go to A and first do method 1, which is right here. I'm going to say h divided by 9 is equal to 2/3. And we have to multiply both sides by a 9, the reciprocal of 9, to clear the h put the h by itself on the left-hand side. So we're going to say 9 times 1/9 h is equal to 2/3 times 9. And the 9's here cancel, and we'll end up with an h, and that h equals 2 times 9 is 16. 2 times 9, excuse me, is 18 divided by 3, and that equals 6. So h is equal to 6. Now let's try the other method. So we had the h divided by 9 is equal to 2/3. We're going to do the cross product. Cross product says 9 times 2. Let's do it the other way. 3 times h. 3 times h is equal to 9 times 2 is equal to 9 times 2. And that 3h times 9 times 2 is equal to, I'll put it down here, 3h is equal to 18. And h then, you multiply both sides by the reciprocal. 1/3 times 3h is equal to 18 times 1/3. And the 3's cancel. And we have h is equal to 18 divided by 3, which is 6. These are solved both ways now. So for the next one, let's try this. 4/5 equals t divided by 55. So to solve this, the method 1, we're going to multiply both sides by 55. So 55 times 4/5 is equal to t divided by 55 times 55. And by doing this, the 55's cancel. 5 goes into 55 11 times. 11 times 4 is 44. So we end up with 44 divided, and then this 5 went into here. 5 went into here, so there's a 1 down here, right? So the answer is 44 is equal to t, because these canceled. All that's left is 44. So t is equal to 44. Using the other method, we're going to go, let's see, 4/5 equals t divided by 55. And this way we're going to say 4 times 55 is equal to 5 times t, right? The 5 times the t, the cross product right here, the cross product, 5 times t, and the 4 times 55. 4 times 55 is 220. 220 equals 5t. And 5 goes, then we have to multiply both sides by the inverse of the reciprocal of 5. So we're going to say 1/5 times 220 is equal to 5t times 1/5. And the answer there is 5 goes into 100, it goes 44 times, equals t, because the 5's canceled. 5 goes into 220 44 times. So these are equal. Let's try this last one. 22 over d, the variable's on the bottom here, equals 6/21 over 21. So in order to clear this, what we're going to have to do is do a bit of multiplication. First we're going to multiply by 1 over d over 1, because this is 1 over d. So we're going to multiply both sides by d times 22 over d equals 6/21 times d. Okay, because we multiply both sides by d. Now the d is on the top because these d's cancel. And we have 22, and I'm running out of room. 22 equals 6d divided by 21. 6d divided by 21. So now, in order to clear this, we have to multiply both sides by the 6 divided by 21 and leave the d on this side here, right? So in order to do that, we're going to multiply both sides. So moving over here, I'm going to say 21 times, because this is we're going to multiply this times 22. That's the 21 here times the 22 here, carrying it over. And then, because it's the inverse, it's 22 over 1 at this point. And then I'm going to do the 6 at the same time. I'm going to divide by 6. I'm also going to divide by the 6. So to do that, I'm going to divide this side by times 1 over 6. And this side is going to be times 1 over 6. So times 1 over 6. And that equals t. So I put the 21 on the top. Oh, right here. I'm putting it in the wrong spot. Anyways, so t is equal to 1 over 6. I got rid of the 6th. And 21 times 22. So 21 times 22 divided by 6. If we get out our calculator, we're going to find out that it's equal to 77. And that's what t is equal to. Now doing it the other way, it's going to be, let's see, hopefully there's enough room to do this. We're going to do it again. So we're going to say 22 divided by d is equal to 6 divided by 21. We're going to do the cross product method. So we're going to say 22 times 21, that's the cross product of 22 and the 21 right here, is equal to 6d. Okay, so we've got to this phase over here, 2 steps down in the first method, in pretty much 1 step. So now we're going to divide by both sides by 6. So we're going to multiply by 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6. And then these 6's cancel, and we end up with d on this side, and that equals to 22 times 21 divided by 6. And it also still ends up to be 77. Multiply these all out. Multiply 22 times 21 divided by 6. Okay? Example 2, testing for a proportion. 2 ratios form a proportion if the cross products are equal. And so do the ratios 4/6, 4 over 6, and 10 over 14 form a proportion. That's the question they're asking. How do we know? How do we determine this? They want us to explain how. Well, we know now that right from the line above it says 2 ratios form a proportion if the cross products are equal. So all we need to do is find out if the cross products are equal. So in order to do that, we're going to say right here that 4 times 14, right here, is 4 times 14, the same as 6 times 10. Is that equal to 6 times 10? Okay, and the only thing we can do is find out, right? So 4 times 14 is how much? 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 4 is 16, so it's 56. And is 56 equal to 6 times 10? No, they're not equal. So this is not a proportion. Do you see that? It's pretty straightforward. Example 2, check your understanding. Directions, tell whether the 2 ratios form a proportion. And explain. So what are they asking? 6 in A, they're asking whether or not 6/9 and 4/6 are equal to each other. And that's the question mark. Are they or are they not? So you go ahead and do them on your own. When you come back, we'll do them together. Okay, now that you're back, let's do A. So A says, is 6 divided by 9, is that equal to, we'll do a little question mark, equal to, is that equal to 4 divided by 6? How do we tell? We take the 6's, the cross product of the 6's, and we get 6 times 6. Does that equal to 4 times 9? And 6 times 6 is 36. And is that equal to 4 times 9, which is 36? The answer is yes. And how about B? 15 twentieths. Does that equal to 5 sevenths? Well, let's we can try it out here, right? It's 15 times 7 is the cross product here. I'll put it in a different color. These two here, cross product, which is 15 times 7. And does that equal to, let's change the color again. And is that equal to 5? Oops, can't draw a very straight line. 5 times 20. Excuse me. So 5 times 20 is 100. And 15 times 7 is how much? 75? Yeah, 75. So do they equal? The answer is no. Sorry about that interruption, my dog. Let's go to problem C. So we're going to say 7 over 12. Does that equal, I'll put a little question mark there, 17 and a half divided by 30. Well, that's an interesting problem here. But in order to do this, so we're going to say 17 and a half times 12. Is that equal to 30 times 7? Well, 30 times 7 is 210. And is 17 times 12, that's interesting. And so, yes, I'm going to change colors. Okay. 17 and a half times 12 is also equal to 210. So these two are yes. They do form a proportion. Objective 2, using proportions to solve problems. You can write and solve proportions for real-world problems. Why don't we give one a try here? Okay, example 3, real-world problem solving. Navigation, 100 nautical miles equals about 115 standard miles, statute miles. And the standard miles are those miles that we drive in our car. That's what they mean by standard miles. To the nearest mile, how far, a nautical mile is a mile on the ocean. So, to the nearest mile, how far in statute miles, miles that we drive on Earth, is 156 nautical miles. So it says let D equal the distance in statute miles. So I'm going to say, let's see, coming down, we're going to say 100 statute miles. Oh no, nautical miles, excuse me, nautical miles is equal to 115 statute miles. And that is equal to 156 nautical miles divided by D statute miles. So the relationship, nautical on the top, standard on the bottom. Nautical on the top, standard on the bottom. So the proportions are correct in the sense of the ratio, what's on top and what's on the bottom. So now we're going to solve for D. In order to do that, I think we should first go ahead and use the cross product. So using the cross product, we get D, we get 100D is equal to 115 times 156. Okay? So when we multiply that out, we get 100D is equal to, this, taking your calculator, gives you 17,940. Okay? Now we have to divide both sides by 100. So we're going to divide this side by 100. And we're going to divide this side by 100. And we're going to end up with D is equal to 179.4. But they want the answer to the nearest mile. To the nearest mile, right here. So the nearest mile is, we round down on the 4. It's 179 statute miles. Okay, example 3, check your understanding. Solve the proportion. To the nearest mile, how far in nautical miles is 100 statute miles? Well, for nautical miles, that's the question. We're going to use N. So I'm going to say N is equal to the nautical miles. Okay, so let's write the proportion. 100 nautical miles. And I'm putting the nautical miles on top because I want my answer in nautical miles. And it's going to be on the other side of the equation. It's going to be on this side. It's going to be, N is going to be on the top on this side now. Divided by 115. And this is standard miles. Nautical on the top, standard on the bottom. And it's nautical on the top, standard on the bottom. What are the standard? We want to know N for 100 statute miles, standard miles. And I'm going to choose to use just method 1 from the earlier in this lesson. Instead of the cross product, it's a fewer steps. So I'm just going to multiply both sides times 100 to get rid of the 100 in the denominator right here. We have to get rid of that 100. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 100. 100 times 100 divided by 115. And that equals N divided by 100 times 100. These 100s cancel. And these 100s over here on this side multiply to 10,000. And you're going to divide that by 115. And you're going to be equal to N, the nautical miles. And what does that equal? Well, take out your calculator because this is not easy to calculate. And if you take out your calculator, you're going to find out that it's nautical miles will be 86.9. Okay? And that 0.9 is going to round up to 87. So the answer is going to be 87 nautical miles. N-A-U-T-I-C-A-L, nautical. M-I-L-E-S. 87 nautical miles is your answer.